part of my Storytime Childhood Experience video, and it's been a pleasure sharing my life stories with you guys. I'm so thankful for the feedback I've had so far. You know, people saying they can relate with my stories. I thank you for the emails and the comments. And you know, when the idea to share these stories came to me, I was a bit apprehensive, you know, because it's my life. It's me being vulnerable and sharing like the lowest times in my life and also the highest times, you know, the pivotal moments, you know. It has been like therapy, to be honest. It has been like therapy. So I feel like it's a good thing. And thank you guys for the positive feedback. You know, thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit to Lagos and then go through to university. I have shared some of my university experience, especially the academic part of university, in a video I did where I talked about, it's a storytime video, my Montessori story, I think. I have shared some of it in that video, so if you want to know more about the academic side, you can watch that video. But in this video I'm going to be talking about like the insecurities, like the social aspect of my life. Okay, so in Lagos, just before I finished my exams, while I was still in school, I had come to this place where I was a bit frustrated because I was scared. The exams were coming up soon and I was afraid. I felt like I was going to fail again. I was in a mixed school, you know, so there is that added pressure of having guys in your class, which I had never experienced before. So when a teacher would ask a question and I didn't know the answer, the insecurities were multiplied. It's just me in my mind. I was my own worst enemy. It's funny how I had so much validation. Everyone was friendly, everyone was loving, everyone was nice to me. No one ever made me feel insecure or bullied me or, you know, said any nasty comments like they did in my school in Port Harcourt. But yet I was still so hard on myself. I still felt like, you know, they're looking at me. They may not be saying it, but maybe they're thinking it, you know. And so it's just all in the mind. So it just shows that people can't make you happy. You know, you can have people saying the right things, you can have people doing all the right things, but at the end of the day, that you're responsible for your happiness. People can't make you happy. It was so bad that at a point, I just wanted to give up. You know, I remember one day in my room, I just sat down and I was just tired. You know, on a Friday, I went through the week in my mind and I just felt so embarrassed and I'd beaten myself up and talked myself into so much negativity that I just was tired. And I just said, you know what, I just don't want to be here. I felt so heavy, like a dark cloud had just come over me. That dark time was when one day I just woke up and it was a Sunday morning and I put on the radio and they were playing some gospel music. And to be honest, I didn't grow up in a religious home. My parents were good people. In the UK, I don't really remember us going to church. You know, we didn't have morning devotion. We were Christian, but, you know, we weren't religious. We didn't really talk about God growing up as children or have prayer time or anything like that. So I knew that God exists. I knew the concept of Jesus. I knew what being a Christian was, but I didn't have any sort of relationship with God. And so I was listening to this song and the lyrics just stood out for me. I just felt, how come these people love him so much, you know? And I felt like I don't really know who God is. I don't know him. And so I just said to myself, do you know what? I think I want to have a relationship with God. And in my room there, I just sat in my bed and said, you know what, Lord, I really want to get to know you. I think you could make all these things just go away. I think you could make my life better. I think you could make me a much happier person. And I want to know you. I really want to know you. And I just prayed that prayer. And to be honest with you, this was in 2000. I felt a peace that is indescribable. Like, it just like came over me and I just started crying and crying. Now, throughout, before uni and even in uni, I had to to learn the hard way, and I learned that people will not give you the feeling. Felt like, okay, if just a simple prayer can give me this kind of peace, like I had butterflies in my tummy, like a love relationship, you know, if praying to God can give me this, then his people must be able to give me this. And so I joined church, and there was so much judgment, you know, very, very judgmental people. Obviously, because I didn't know scripture, I didn't know how to pray, you know, I was just praying from my heart. Oh Lord, I'm just happy to be here. I was going to people to learn, and then the people were hurting me, you know, they were hurting me. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but every church I went to, I got hurt by people, either people saying nasty things about me, you know, or just being judgmental towards me, like I didn't fit in church. You know, so I went to uni in my first year. I joined this church. I was very hungry for God, and I was just desperate to know more, and I got seriously hurt there. It was such a bad experience, and so I moved to another church, and this church, it was just judgment, you know, everybody was just being judged, you know, if you're not a certain way, you're judged. And I felt like I was so different, like I had tried to blend into their idea of who a Christian should be, and so, you know, the judgment was just too much for me. So I left that church and went to another church. And so I started this journey to stop trying to find myself through people's eyes, but start to be happy for me. Yeah, that was my journey in university. It was a self-discovery journey. Academic side is on its own, and like I said, if you want to know more about the academic side of university, you can watch my Montessori story. But on the social side, it was just a journey of self-discovery. Finding myself helped me deal with insecurities. So I'm constantly questioning, why are you doing this? I'm learning to stop doing things for people. Stop saying things for people. Stop trying to be something for people to think some way of you. People are going to think whatever they want to think about you regardless. So there are times I do things and I'm like, oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that. They're going to think. And insecurities start to come through. And I'm like, no. Why did you do it? Look at yourself. What is your intention? You know? And time. I always say this now. Time is a healer of all things. I may make bad decisions and people judge me based on those bad decisions. But in time, they will see that that was a bad decision, and that bad decision does not define who I am. So I'm learning to let it go. Let it rub off my shoulder. All my life I've tried to live for people, to please people, to do what I feel people will want me to do, to sound the way I think they want me to sound, because of insecurities, because of low self-esteem. But today I'm not there anymore. It's still a journey. I still have moments where I'm like, shh, but I have to look in the mirror, look at myself and say, Meme, you're good enough. Meme, you're smart enough. Meme, you can do this. Girl, you got this. There's so much negativity in this world that all I want to do is spread love, spread positivity, and live to inspire. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this 3-part series. I love you guys, and thank you so much for your support. I've let it all out. It does feel like therapy. Alright guys, until my next video, see ya.